A win away from home finally after a long time. Arsenal played Everton earlier and we beat them 1-0 from a Viktor Gyokeres penalty. And yeah, it was a penalty straightforward and he really needed that goal. Let's be honest, Gyokeres, we wanted him to take that penalty. And Odegaard being captain made the great decision because, if you hadn't been there, Saka would have taken that penalty. But I'm so glad he gave it to Gyokeres because we need him up and running with the goals. Some things went really well for us today. Some things really badly. We dominated a game where we had no control. We had no transitional control. We've got a back four which were good in spaces. I think Saliba, Hincapié solid today. They did their best. And we didn't really look in a lot of danger in a lot of situations. Calafiori was found wandering up there. He had opportunities to go forward. Timber as well doing okay defensively, but interrupting some of the offensive moves, which I think is becoming a bit of a theme. He really interrupted one of the chances that Saka had. Midfield, Rice is carrying too heavy a load. I feel so sorry for him because he should be able to play without worrying about whether Zubimendi is going to be effective defensively. We are really short. We are not controlling the midfield. We are not controlling the pace of the game in the middle. We just do not have control of the game completely. Odegaard as well, he wasn't great, at the end there were phases in the game where he was doing things really well, especially weirdly when Gyokeres came off, he was trying those quick passes to Saka. But when Gyokeres is in it, like 7 touches, taking running leaps and bounds into, towards, and then releasing the ball too late for Gyokeres to be able to do anything with the ball. Sorry, this camera is shaking. And that is so frustrating. He really, really needs to figure things out. Trossard did not have a memorable game, but you could tell this guy, we needed him. I really liked the little cameo that Martinelli had. He didn't score, but at least you could see the defense were a bit scared of him and they were trying to make sure that he wasn't let out free. Saka, of course, he was doing his usual thing, but today I don't think he was as effective. Keane was all over him. Keane was all over Saka. He didn't let him breathe. Saka had a lot of success. But once again, at the end of the day, when you've got a defender on your neck and another one waiting to pounce on you, every time you lose your defense, it's really difficult. But in the end, he had a few chances. He did pretty well. And I wouldn't be shocked if he got man of the match again, but not because it was, anyway, let me not moan. And then Gyokeres, of course, like I said, had some success and some failures. He should, like earlier when I was watching Ekitike take those chances, when Isak came on, and he took that chance, and I'm thinking, I wish Gyokeres was as nimble as that. He isn't. And then who else did I see? Haaland, of course. You know what I mean? He just doesn't have that kind of thing. But the problem I have with Arsenal right now is we just don't have control of any aspect of the games. And that is where I think I'll have to revise my earlier statement about winning the league. When you watch Manchester City play, we watched them play against West Ham, and the way they were moving the balls about, they were moving the ball about between them. You can say that West Ham are one of the worst teams in the league, yeah? But honestly, and you can say that, West Ham usually just defend a lot against Arsenal. Teams just do a low block. But no, I think they were outthought and outmaneuvered. And that is how Manchester City are doing it. We don't do that. We put a pass through the midfield, one pass. There isn't those triangles you make. There isn't those quick passes in the midfield. We do not have that kind of creativity, that technical ability to make all those sharp passes in the middle. And the intelligence, our players just cannot play like that anymore. And it's because we've got Zubimendi there. We used to do that even better when we had at least Partey in there. We used to do that a lot better, but we don't do it anymore. Saka, Odegaard, and Kai Havertz, they had that link. And who else? When Ben White, Odegaard, Saka, when they play together, they've got that relationship, but it was always only on the right wing, not on the left wing, not down the middle, but we've lost that chemistry on the wing and we have lost that control in the middle. I know we had Partey for 2-3 years before now and we still didn't win anything, but at least you could guarantee certain games we would win. There are games like the Sunderland one where we were bullied, Newcastle. I mean, I just feel like if we had managed to keep him, we'd be in a better position, not at the expense of Zubimendi, but with Zubimendi, which was the plan for the club before they had to sell Thomas Partey, before they had to move him on. They were going to keep both of them. But I do not think personally that we are going to win the league because we've got Zubimendi. I think he doesn't give us what we need in the middle to control the game. There's no control. There is zero control. We score and then we cannot maintain the momentum. There's no one in the middle to help us maintain that momentum because one, you've got Declan Rice, who is not playing the way he was playing last season because he's so responsible. He knows if he goes wandering about without a care in the world, there's nobody to guard that back four. And it's the right decision every minute of the game. He is making the right decisions in that aspect. But anyway, it was a 1-0 win and it was a great, great performance. Now, the other game, which I was concerned about because they played earlier and I was worried about what it was going to mean, was Manchester City. Manchester City are well and truly on the way to winning themselves a title, aren't they? They beat West Ham very easily earlier on in the day. It was a 3 p.m. kickoff my time. It was 3-0. Erling Haaland with 2 goals and Reinders with 1. Honestly, Erling Haaland had a fantastic game again. Reinders had a fantastic game again. Even when Savinho came on, just the interchange was absolutely sensational. These guys are right on the way to win themselves a title. I cannot lie. The earlier game of the day, which was probably the best game of the day, was Newcastle United versus Chelsea. These guys battered each other. It was hilarious. Votamade wanted to make a statement after that beautiful own goal he scored against Sunderland. He comes on and he had a brilliant first goal. Scored. They were 2-0 up in 20 minutes. And I was like, you know what? As much as I'm whining about Arteta, we should worship that guy. He would not put up with us conceding 2 goals in 20 minutes. It wouldn't. It just would not happen. But, it was... It happened and I thought, oh my God, Chelsea had cooked. But of course, resilience. And at first I was thinking, this Reece James, you're telling us is the best midfielder in the world because he's coming into the middle and doing... Yeah. Some of these statements we make, there are certain games that make you look better than others because of the way teams play. Newcastle, the first half of the game, when he was conceding all those goals, he was fast asleep on the second goal. He saw the cross that went to Votamade very late and he tried to get there, but he snatched at it, blah, 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 2-0. But in the second half, when they came back in from the break, you could see the excellence from Reece James. This guy was on it, honestly. And Caicedo, I wish we had bought Caicedo instead of our Spanish little maestro who's struggling at the moment. But Caicedo is the real deal. He was absolutely sensational. He's not 100%. You have to remember the team they're playing. There's a lot of rawness and stuff, but there were places you could see that, oh my gosh, this guy is the real deal. He reminds me, he would have been the perfect replacement for Thomas Partey, but of course, it just couldn't happen. Cole Palmer come back from injury. He had a pretty decent game. Anthony Gordon, pretty good as well. Sandro Tonali, of course. Louis Smiley ended up getting man of the match, but that is because he kept that Garnacho, Cucurella locked down, all the stuff they do, these two, because Cucurella is very dangerous from that left back position of his, and he held him down, he locked it down. And anyway, it ended up 2-2. And yeah, it was a very fantastic game, but they battered each other, and it was hilarious to see two of the most aggressive teams to us. Everyone is most aggressive to us anyway. Let's be honest, Arsenal, aren't they? And yeah, Tutu, great for the spectators, but I'm sure the Chelsea fans are not so impressed. Other game, Sunderland was a 0-0 draw. If Bournemouth Burnley was a 1-1 draw. Gosh, when I checked it earlier, it was 1-0 Bournemouth, so 1-1 draw in the end. And then of course Brentford beat Wolves. We expected that. And it's crazy because the Wolves almost beat us last week. They almost beat us and we almost draw till the last second. And somehow they go and get battered at Brentford. Well, by Brentford at home. Crazy. Tottenham Hotspur, Liverpool. This was a crazy good match to watch. It wasn't good in terms of like good as in a national perspective, but as a spectacle. Just seeing Isak take that goal, beautiful. Ekitike is playing so well. Honestly, he's my number one for Liverpool in that position. Let him play. He's playing so well. Great player. And he's got the swag. The guy can, in the back for Liverpool, they really need to sort out Konate and Van Dijk's chemistry. Those guys need to go on a retreat together. They need to go on a spa date, together to try and get some bonding going because they are like in each other's spaces, and that is how I think the Tottenham goal came about in the end because they were like all over each other. Richarlison coming in and smashing that in, but there was no way Spurs were going to lose. There had 2 red cards in the end. The first red card was really bad challenge by Xavi Simon, 100%, and then the second red card, I don't even know who got that one. What's his name? Sometimes I speak way too quickly. Romero got one, but he looked so hyped up when he was getting it, and I'm thinking, dude, you know what I mean? Calm down. And then Leeds basically battered Crystal Palace. So 4-1 in the end. Calvin-Lewin with 2, Ampandu with 1, Stanch really late on, but then Daveni for Crystal Palace scored a penalty in the 92nd minute. So a lot of drama in that, but of course it was playing at the same time as the Arsenal game, and I was just so anxious. I didn't have a chance to tune into it, but I'm sure it was very interesting. So that was the Saturday games. Sunday games, let's see who's playing Sunday. Apart from the Spanish league, Barcelona will be playing Villarreal. I won't be watching that. But Manchester United will be playing Aston Villa in the Midlands. I think I went for Villa to win, but Man U can surprise us. Please do. And then the big one, Africa Nations Cup starts tomorrow, 7 p.m. Morocco will be playing Comoros. I'm expecting Morocco to walk this over, but of course, you never know. You never know. This is Zambia's group. I am Zambian, so I'm Team Zambia. So fingers crossed, yeah, Comoros shock Morocco and get a draw. Then we can discuss terms later. Thank you so much. But yeah, so that was a Sunday roundup. That was the Arsenal game. 3 points, but a lot of anxiety in me because I don't think it actually puts Arsenal in that sort of position where you can say that Arsenal are in a position to win the league this year. We just look very short in midfield. We do not have the control we need, and I don't think we've got a solution right now. So Manchester City are now my favorites for the league. That is so painful to say. But I'll do another show about why it is Pep Guardiola's fault. This guy is demonic and he is magnificent. All in one. He knows what he is doing. He knows everything about football. And Arteta needs to learn a bit more from him. Right, guys, let me know where you're watching from and I will be talking to you very soon. This has been Daliso on DSS. Talk soon, guys. Bye-bye.